couple things. We don't have control over the electronic wastegate just yet from TurboSmart. The valve is open, that's why it sounds ridiculously loud. Once that valve closes, we'll have just the exhaust coming out of the side here, which will quiet it down quite a bit and have more of a normal engine tone to it. And there's a couple programming things that we still got to work through. Try to get biddies here since you had to fly out yesterday. We'll get them back in and remote. Thankfully, one of the 2 belts that I next to aired here did fit and does work. And it's the one that I actually didn't want to work, but it does. The other one was a higher quality one. Now we can just continue moving forward, get this thing heat cycled and get biddies in here to program, and then hopefully get John Reed scheduled so we can dyno this thing. Did a phenomenal job programming, get everything dialed in and set up. Now we have John Reed in there who's going to be tuning it on the dyno, and he is just getting kind of situated with the electronic wastegate from TurboSmart. TurboSmart sells a control box, a control unit to go with it, but when I had bought the gate, they didn't have that available yet. And actually, I honestly didn't even know they had it until 2 days ago. So the Motec is very capable and can be used to control it. There just wasn't any software written for it. So we have John Reed sorting some stuff out, and I think there is an output that he can use regardless. He just has to figure out kind of the thresholds of everything on how to control it. So that's what we're kind of going through now. Kind of switching polarities back and forth on the electric gate output to see kind of what's working best, and he's saying currently the other way is working better, so I'm just going to swap these back. Carrying it off from yesterday, we were having some issues trying to control the TurboSmart wastegate. It turns out we had it on an output that didn't have enough hertz, so we changed that today, put it to a different output that has the proper amount. So now John went through it and he says working perfectly. Good there. And then I was going to jet to the dyno, but I think I'm just running out of time. So instead, I just asked John if he wanted to do a little logging and a little bit of just cruising on the streets. So we got our plates. I didn't get antique, but I got to say this is the cheapest registration I've ever had at $42. We're gonna cruise this thing and bed the brakes in, and I guess just go through it a little bit and just see kind of what we'll need to do before the dyno. All right, hopefully this thing stays.
Oh, you don't want to hit the mobile, put some 93 in her?
Well, I would, but we need a little bit more than that in this thing.
fuel smell. It makes me wonder if we have a leak. It's like super strong.
There's two bolts on each bracket. They're Allen, countersunk Allen heads. They tighten the fuel rail. It came loose on two sides and two injectors popped out and it was just pissing fuel. Thankfully we were stopped when it happened and we smelt it.
Got some car trouble, little lady.
Yeah.
We are currently all good. Back, baby. No boost. Taking it slow. John's gonna figure out what's going on.
So John's just making little changes.
Yeah, he has like no reference on the wastegate, so he's being very careful about it, which I can appreciate. So we're just slowly getting into some little bit of boost pressure. Looks like it's like turning on 50 foot-pounds, so that's not good. Oh my god. That's all the way loose. 20 foot-pounds. Okay. That's 15 pounds of boost with the rear studs not even tight. Damaged this area of the head, so I'm gonna have to get it resurfaced. It's really turned out great. Brennan has these heads machined where the washer on the ARP bolt rests in the head. So you drill it down and then you have these custom washers made, these little inserts that insert underneath, on the head so that these ARP washers don't sink into the head because this aluminum is pretty soft, and try to do a little bit of a higher torque rating on it. Since he did that, the washers didn't seat in the head properly. I don't know if they weren't seated properly from the machine shop, from him, or what the case is, but he was supposed to tell me to re-torque the head after a heat cycle. He didn't. Obviously, I didn't do that. The loosest ones in the back of the head where the gasket blew really bad were hand tight. And the tightest stud in the whole head, because I checked everything, bumped the torque up each time, seeing if I could move the nut. The tightest one was like 55 foot-pounds. And you know that's not gonna fucking last for shit, not even on an NA motor. So it's just a ticking time bomb, and it damaged the back of the head a little bit. So we're gonna bring it to our boy Randall, who built my 2J motor. He's just gonna go through the whole head. Just make sure everything's all good. He's gonna deck it. A lot of this head wasn't clean from 30 years of bad oil changes, so he's gonna hopefully clean all of that. And then Brendan is next day airing a head gasket to us. I don't know how soon Randall's gonna jump on this. I assume if it's gonna inspect it, check it, clean it, and if everything looks good, he's just gonna deck it, clean it, and send it back. So we'll see what he says when we get there. I hate coming to you when I have all my freaking problems. It seems like it's how it's been.
It's pretty bad. Get this with our time search.
Old head problems. One of the thread holes pulled out for the cam cap, so we had to order a time cert, and that's why this is set up in the Bridgeport right now. So Randall is going to precision drill and install time certs so that we're all set. The time certs are really nice. They thread in on the outside, and then you have your threads on the inside, so there's really no chance of it pulling out, you know. A little bit better than a helicoil.
So it's going to be like a 4-stage process. We're going to find the center of the hole first, and we're going to drill it, counterbore, and then from there, you're going to come in with the tap, thread insert tap, which is pretty standard for most thread inserts. The insert's now going to be stronger than the aluminum head.
Right.
So we make it so it doesn't pull out. We'll Loctite it in place, and then after you install it, you come in and they have a little reaming tool which we'll take out, and that you just run through the middle of it with oil and basically sets it in there, and it sets the threads on the ID too.
Okay. Gotta say, this is one of the cleanest Bridgeports I've seen.
We'll just kind of find the center of that.
Yeah, it's probably somewhat close.
So usually what I'll do is, like you got that, I'll leave that in that sort of neutral mode. So you can flip it. You can kind of go 12 and 6, then you go 9 and 3.
Is that how you usually?
For something like this, we're kind of doing this the quick and straightforward
dirty,
way. So something that was way more precise than this, we'd go about it with different means.
Yeah,
we're just repairing.
Hey, I just want to make sure that when I'm doing this kind of stuff, it's not totally the wrong way to do it, since I am not a machinist.
Don't I hold off on? If you want to take the mirror and just go and angle it so you can look down in the hole and you can see where the threads hold out. You can see beyond that. And you can see how deep. So when we do our work in there, we're not going to get into trouble with boring too far or anything like that.
Plenty of room in there.
All right, so I'm just going to come into it a little bit.
Yeah, that's good.
It's equal all the way around. So now we'll just kind of go in and go for it.
It is super close.
It's super close, but we don't want to do that because then we'll interrupt the bore for the dowel sleeve. So basically we're just going to manually let this come down, and then we're going to just go in and hand tap it. But this is going to keep it centered, so we're not even going to have to worry about centering it. The weight of the machine is just going to lay on there and fit into that little taper in the top. Yep, so we'll just tap a few threads in, and we'll back it off a little bit. Kind of sheds the pieces out of there, and then we can advance some more. And now we're pretty far in. I can take that right out of there. So we'll just kind of start this like that. So why don't you go ahead and start that in? Yeah, and just run it in slow at first. And if you just kind of, as it goes in, it'll just go in like a regular thread.
Okay.
The insert will go in first, and then we won't get to reaming until it kind of gets to a little bit of a stop there.
Once it starts getting tight, it stops. Now it's getting reamed in.
Yep. At some point, you'll feel it get a little harder. So as it gets harder like that, just go slow, and then at some point, it'll even get easier. You can go a little further. You can even go until it just touches down. So now you just back it right out.
Nice. Better than new. How about that?
Basically now we're just gonna set up the level. We're gonna check it both ways a couple of times. Sometimes when you change it in one direction, it'll change the other way, but we'll just rough it in. And then we'll just start checking it in both directions. So now we're going to find a good spot to go in and kind of get this on, which that's kind of the somewhat damaged area. This outside area is mostly cosmetic. We'll just kind of come in so we can get a better look at that. bring this down, it'll come onto the dial indicator. When we bring the knob down, see I'm cranking back here. Once that gets to 0, that's 0. So whatever we dial in for a cut,
0 is the cut.
Yeah, it
starts the cut.
Yeah. So bring it up to about 3 to 3.5. We're just gonna spray a little WD here.
Preferred cutting oil for something like this?
There's several different things you can do, but for something like this, for this aluminum material, this will be fine.
Cool.
Yeah.
So auto mode, and then start.
Yep.
Nice. No glove life.
Right around 3 on the first cut. Second half, what'd you do?
What'd you do?
2.
You did 2.
Yeah,
okay.
we did 2.
I thought we did 1.5, but I had to double check it.
Right around there.
Okay.
It probably actually cut 1.5. You know, we set it at 2.
Okay.
That's what you needed to clean up.
Yeah. I'm just not happy about that.
You got a little ding there.
We don't know where that happened.
Yeah. The mystery mark.
The mystery mark.
We'll find a good place to put it. What's your roughness average?
15.35. I don't even know what that unit of measure is either.
Most of these gasket companies would say somewhere between 20 and 50 is acceptable.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So we're at
better than that.
Yeah, we're at 15. So we're even smoother than that.
Yeah. Here it is.
You want to rip it apart and look at it?
No. I'll wait.
Some people do that.
I'll wait.
They package it up nice and they just come in and tear the bag apart.
You're like,
Yeah.
come on, bud.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, dude.
Yeah, that's
appreciate
no
the quick
problem.
turnaround as
Yeah.
always.
Yeah,
Hopefully it doesn't have to be like this from here on out. Oh yeah. Let's get to work. We're going to torque it to what we're going to do a heat cycle on. So 85 foot-pounds right now. After we get a full heat cycle on it, like we were supposed to do originally, we'll turn it off and we'll re-torque the head about 90 foot-pounds to 95 foot-pounds. Brendan said that the tightest he goes is 95. I'm more or less just going to want to make sure it's tight, and we'll just go a little bit more to 90 from 85 just to make sure everything's all good and that those washers are effectively set where they're supposed to be. Back's on fire! Since we barely got any time on the engine, we're still going to run some conventional oil for break-in and dyno, and then we'll swap out for some synthetic.
Time for the first start?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know why I'm so nervous, but I am.
Riding in style!
We got back together, bud, thanks to a bunch of good friends. All right, that's a full heat cycle. We'll drop the oil, put fresh stuff in. We're gonna let it cool down a little bit, check the head torque, and then it will be done already.